all, welcome to the video on types of feedback network. As we have understood, there are two basic classifications of a feedback network: positive and negative feedback network. We have understood the negative feedback in many ways are more advantageous over the positive feedback network. So in this video, let us understand the basic types of the feedback network. Based on the type of the entity it is handling, the feedback network are classified into two broader types. Overall, there are four types of the feedback network. First one, if my feedback circuit is carrying the voltage as a feedback parameter, we call it as a voltage based feedback network. Similarly, if the feedback network is carrying a current as a feedback entity, we call it as a current based feedback network. So two variants in voltage feedback and two variants in current feedback together aids in four types of a feedback circuit. Let us see what are the four types of a feedback circuit. So as I told you, there are two types of voltage, two types of current feedback network. If the voltage is fed in series, if the voltage is fed in series to the supply, we call the circuit as voltage series feedback. If the voltage is fed shunt or in parallel to the input voltage, we call the voltage to be voltage shunt feedback. Similarly, if current is fed in series with the supply, current series feedback, and if the current is fed in parallel or shunt to the input supply, we call it as a shunt feedback network. Let us see the block diagram representation of each. Here, A, I am calling it as an amplifier block. These circuits G, Z, Y and H, we are calling them as a feedback gain, because that is also the circuit which we can basically calculate its gain. A is the gain of an amplifier, G, Z, Y and H are the gain of the feedback network. Having understood those assumptions, you can see basically we have a voltage and current sources. Now let us understand, I have a current voltage source here. If you see the output coming out from an amplifier is sampled or it is selected. Correct? It is selected. Same case you can see here. We are selecting it in different ways. The different configurations are obtained. Let us see one by one configuration in detail. So here I am going for voltage series feedback. So this is my amplifier block. This is my feedback block. Amplifier input is Vin. Amplifier's output is Vout. So gain of an amplifier A is equal to output by input. Correct? No? Now, if I am coming for the feedback network, the same equations are applicable for all the blocks. So let us understand in detail for the first one. Similarly, when I come for the feedback, so gain of a feedback network is called as B. What is the output of feedback network? Feedback voltage. What is the input to the feedback network? Vout. B is the gain of a feedback network. A is the gain of an amplifier. The equations would be A is equal to Vout by Vin for amplifier network. Similarly, B, gain of a feedback, is feedback voltage by its input voltage, that is output for a feedback network. These equations we all need to remember. Correct? Having done this, we need to understand the different types. Let us understand the different types here. So, voltage series feedback is the one that I am now first considering. Okay. Say the voltage series feedback here. The output is fetched from the output network. Voltage is always across, right? So voltage is fetched across, going to the feedback network. As the name says, it is a voltage series feedback, right? Input is fed in series to the supply. Input is fed in series to the supply. Correct? So the equation for voltage series feedback, we could simply write it as gain AV is equal to V out by VI. Then A of F, that is feedback gain, that is B. V out by Vf. Correct? Then total voltage, feedback voltage is V into V out. So this is the voltage that is fed back here in the circuit. Vf is B into V out. That is what it is being fed into the circuit here. So this is voltage series. Now let us understand voltage shunt. Again, parallel output voltage is fetched in parallel to the output. So parallelly the output is fetched while feeding, as the name says, you are supposed to feed it parallel. Again, I am feeding it in parallel. Input going and also feedback is coming to the same place. Correct? Hence the name voltage shunt feedback. It is called as voltage shunt feedback. Here also the equations will be AV that is the output of the voltage circuit, V out by I of I, correct? And B is equal to V out by feedback voltage I of F. Then B is equal I of F feedback current is equal to B into V out. This is the voltage shunt feedback. Coming to the other network, that is current series feedback and current shunt feedback. Again, we need to understand while fetching, current is always measured in series, right? So while fetching, I am fetching the current in series from the output network. Correct? Having fetched the current series with the output network in both the cases. So first case, current series feedback. The input is fed in series with the input supply. The feedback voltage current is fed in series with the supply. Hence the name current series feedback. Correct? In current series feedback, as you can see, the current is fed in series. Correct? So the equations will be A of I. I'll write it as current gain. Output voltage, output current by applied current, and B is equal to applied voltage by current. So this is the gain of the current series feedback network. The last topology here is current shunt. So what is current shunt? Again, the current is fetched in series. While feeding, I am feeding in parallel. So input is fed as well as the output is fed in parallel to the circuit. The feedback is fed in parallel to the circuit. Hence the name current series feedback. Correct? So these are the four major types of feedback network. Hope you have understood all the four types. If you have any doubts or queries, you can please write to me. Thank you so much.